What if the greatest love of your life was actually a script? What if those breathless promises, that feeling of being seen and chosen for the first time, was not a beginning, but a carefully staged opening act in a psychological operation? You are about to learn a playbook, not one of romance, but of psychological capture. This is the Narcissist's Predatory Cycle, love bombing to devaluation. For the next minutes, we will move from victim to forensic analyst, from heartbreak to strategic understanding. This is not therapy. This is mental Krav Maga. We are dissecting the predator's manual so you can never be bound by it again. What you experienced was not a failed relationship. It was a controlled demolition of yourself. And today we study the blueprints. It begins long before the first hello. The narcissist is not looking for a partner. They are sourcing narcissistic supply, an external source of attention, admiration, and emotional energy to fuel their fragile, hollow self. To do this, they perform a subconscious yet brutally efficient target scan. They are not attracted to your strength, but to your quality of light, your empathy, your kindness, your competence, your integrity. These are not things they value. They are things they need to consume. You are not a person, you are a battery, and they are an entity running on empty. The target profile, the empath, the giver. Your natural inclination to nurture and understand is seen as a limitless fuel source. The high achiever, your success and reputation are trophies they can annex and claim as their own. The healer, the fixer. Your desire to help is a vulnerability they can exploit by presenting themselves as a wounded bird that only you can save. The validation seeker. If your self-worth has external cracks, they will find them and widen them into doorways. Their radar is tuned to one frequency. Can this person provide the emotional drama, admiration, and control I require? If the answer is yes, the playbook opens to page 1, the idealization phase. This is love bombing, and the term is perfect. It is an overwhelming, tactical bombardment designed to bypass your rational mind and storm the gates of your emotional core. It is not genuine intimacy accelerated. It is intimacy impersonated. The love bombing toolkit. 1. Future faking. They don't just talk about next week, they talk about next year. I can't wait to take you to Italy. Our kids would have your eyes. We should buy a cabin here. They are selling you a shared future to anchor you in the present manipulation. 2. Mirroring. They reflect you perfectly. Your hobbies become theirs. Your opinions are echoed. Your dreams are championed. You feel an eerie, soulmate level of connection. You are not seeing a soulmate. You are seeing a high-definition mirror. They are empty, so they wear your reflection as a costume. 3. Intensity and exclusivity. The pace is breakneck. Constant communication. They declare you different from anyone else, separating you from your support system in the most flattering way possible. They don't understand our connection. 4. Manufactured vulnerability. They may share a curated wound, a story of past betrayal or hardship. This serves 2 purposes. It triggers your compassion, and it installs an excuse for their future bad behavior. I have trust issues because of my ex. And the Krav Maga mental drill here, the reality anchor. While this storm is happening, you must plant one foot in objective reality. The drill is simple. Track the discrepancy between words and time. They say soulmate, but you've known them for 3 weeks. They promise forever, but they haven't seen you on a bad day. When the future talk feels disproportionate to the shared history, sound the internal alarm. This is not cynicism. This is cognitive grounding. It is often a subtle shift in atmospheric pressure. The idealization was unsustainable because it was a fiction. You, a human being, will inevitably do something that contradicts their perfect fantasy. You get tired. You have a different opinion. You need attention when they are bored. This is the first devaluation test. It is often a small, deniable put-down, a criticism veiled as a joke, a sigh of disappointment. You're not wearing that, are you? I thought you were stronger than that. It's cute that you think that. Your soul will feel a chill. Your old programming will say, I must have done something wrong. I must fix this to get back to the beautiful beginning. That chill is your psychological immune system. That is the feeling of a predator testing the fences. Now the playbook enters its core function. If love bombing was about building you up to be the perfect source, devaluation is about systematically breaking you down to be a more efficient, compliant source. It is emotional engineering. The devaluation playbook. 1. Intermittent reinforcement. This is the cruelest and most effective tool. They now mix cruel treatment with occasional bursts of the old good partner. One day, silent treatment. The next, a bouquet. You become like a lab rat, desperately pressing the lever, believing the next reward is just around the corner. This addiction cycle is more powerful than constant abuse. 2. Projection. Their shame, their insecurity, their dishonesty. They cannot tolerate it in themselves, so they project it onto you. The cheater accuses you of cheating. The liar calls you deceptive. The volatile one calls you unstable. It is a psychological exorcism where they cast their demons into you. 3. Triangulation. They introduce a phantom third party, an ex who still wants them, a coworker who flirts, a friend who thinks you're not good enough. This creates artificial scarcity and competition. You are no longer being loved. You are being auditioned. 4. Gaslighting. We've covered this. It is the systematic undermining of your reality. I never said that. You're too sensitive. You're crazy. Its goal is to make their voice the only authority on truth, including the truth about you. 5. The erosion of boundaries. Every no is met with punishment, sulking, anger, or persuasion until you relent. Your time, your body, your money, your friendships all become communal property for them to use as supply. Emotion will beg you to explain, to fix, to understand why. Your task is to become a behavioral accountant. In a notes app, you log only actions and words, not interpretations. March 10th, called me clingy for texting good morning. March 12th, promised to call, didn't. When asked, said I was keeping score. March 15th, complimented my outfit, then later said it made me look cheap. You are not tracking a person's bad day. You are documenting a pattern of tactics. This log is your shield against gaslighting and your map of the playbook. The discard is not always a breakup. It is the final, definitive withdrawal of supply. It can be brutal and sudden, a ghosting, a cold announcement. Or it can be a slow, agonizing fade where you are kept on a shelf, breadcrumbed with minimal attention. The reason is simple. You are depleted. You are no longer a shiny, vibrant source of admiration. You are anxious, insecure, and desperate, a mirror that now reflects their own toxicity back at them. You have served your purpose. The battery is drained. The toy is broken. Or you have begun to see the playbook. You have set a boundary they cannot cross. You have become difficult to control. To the narcissist, a self-aware source is a useless source. You are discarded not out of anger, but out of boredom and contempt. Do not mistake this for love. When they circle back weeks or months later with a nostalgic text, I miss you, it is not a change of heart. It is the psychological vacuum cleaner coming to suck you back in for a quick hit of supply to see if the old battery still has a flicker of charge. It is the most predictable line in the entire playbook. Understanding this playbook is your first and most critical act of reclaiming power. The spell is broken when you see the strings. Your healing does not begin with asking, why didn't they love me? It begins with the forensic question. What tactics did I observe, and how did they function? Your new protocols. 1. Target hardening. Now that you know the scan, you can change your signature. This means strengthening internal validation. Your worth is not a debate. Your boundaries are not suggestions. You become a hard target, not by being cruel, but by being self-contained. 2. Pace. Governing. You control the speed of intimacy. You install a 30-day rule for future faking. Any grand promise is met with a calm, "Let's revisit that idea in a few months when we know each other better." You normalize the normal pace of trust. 3. The action over word audit. You stop listening to poetry and start reading the ledger of behavior. Do their actions consistently match their lofty words? You trust the former and view the latter as potential data, not truth. 4. The no explanation exit. When you recognize the playbook in action, you do not confront the playwright with their script. You do not try to get closure from a person who operates on control, not connection. You execute a silent, strategic withdrawal. You vanish from the game board. No contact is not a punishment for them. It is a medical quarantine for you. The Narcissist's Playbook is a closed loop. It offers the illusion of a fairy tale and delivers the reality of a horror story, but you are not a character trapped in their narrative anymore. You are the author, you are the analyst, you are the sovereign. The love bombing was a mirror. The devaluation was a projection. None of it was ever about you. It was always about the emptiness they were trying to fill with your light. Your task now is not to understand the darkness, but to reclaim your light, to tend to the garden of your own self-worth with the devotion they pretended to offer, to build a reality so solid, so internally validated that no external script can ever overwrite it again. You have decoded the playbook. Now go write your own story. Subscribe for the next protocol.